Self-reported attribution is this great approach to capturing data on your website about your buyers that your software, your analytics, and most of the metrics and data that you have available natively just isn't going to tell you. So broadly speaking, it's an approach to adding a field to high intent forms that buyers use to tell you they're ready to enter the sales process to capture what it was that triggered them to come to your website in the first place. So this is achieved by adding a question, usually, how did you first hear about us? And using a free text mandatory field to capture buyers' responses to that question. Self-reported attribution is this great approach to capturing information about your buyer on your website, not because it directly tells you how your website is performing or it's a direct part of your website's objective, but because of the powerful insight it can give you into how your go-to-market strategy is working to influence, reach and drive buyers into your sales process. This podcast is brought to you by Blend, the HubSpot website agency. Your website is your most valuable marketing asset, and so it's crucial that you get it right. We're the specialist HubSpot website agency helping businesses create effective, scalable websites that drive real results. See examples of our work and the impact we've delivered for businesses just like yours at blendb2b.com. So it's the process of adding a field to your high intent forms, the forms that buyers use to tell you they're ready to enter the sales process, asking them, how did they first hear about you? And this captures information that goes beyond what your analytics, what your typical software attribution, and what most of your marketing stack will be able to tell you about the things that really influence your buyers when it comes to their first discovery of your brand and their first inclination to visit your website. So by adding the question, how did you first hear about us, to your bottom of the funnel commercial conversion points, so your demo form, your trial form, talk to sales, whatever it is, by asking buyers to fill in a mandatory free text field, you'll get powerful qualitative insights into what's really happening in their minds prior to them coming to your website and buying from you as a result of your sales process. And this is transformative in lots of cases, and it paints a very different picture often to the one that's either expressed in the data and metrics that marketers frequently have at their fingertips from their website, their analytics, their attribution, and from the one that's intended when you consider how they're prioritizing and spending their budget. And so gathering this information is a really powerful way to reframe the way you think about the role of your website in demand generation for your company, but your whole demand generation go-to-market strategy in terms of what's truly driving people to buy from you when they do, and what areas of your budget and of your spend are potentially wasted because they're not having the effect of getting buyers into your pipeline. So unlike software attribution, which will tell you how your visitor or buyer got to your website the first time you were able to track how they got to your website, so typically revealing channels like search, direct, social as a means of arriving, self-reported attribution does something quite different. It tells you where your message is being seen by your buyers. And this includes places that are completely untrackable and unknowable to your software and as a result to a lot of marketers. Dark social touch points, word of mouth conversations, communities and groups that you're not actively marketing to, but where your brand, your offering, your message has touched somebody in a way that drives them all the way to your website and into your pipeline. And this is really, really insightful because it goes way beyond attributable, trackable conversions and touch points. It goes beyond advertising tracking pixels and what they can tell you, and really helps you to inform yourself about what's having an impact today and what you can double down on to drive even more impact quickly. And it's a really effective way to optimize where you put your budget and your effort to drive more pipeline. When it comes to implementing self-reported attribution, there's a few best practices to follow and a few pitfalls to avoid. I already mentioned that it should be a mandatory free text field, and that's really important to get the right kind of insights from your buyers. The temptation lots of marketers will face is to make it either an optional field or a drop down with pre-chosen options. But both are to be avoided because they really do harm the trustworthiness and the quality of the data that you gather. A drop down is going to create bias within the responses. It's going to increase the amount of inaccuracy that you get because it's too easy for people to pick something, anything that isn't the reality. So if you've got a drop down with Google, paid search, social, events, etc., you're going to find buyers are going to take that as an easy way out. And unfortunately, we don't want them to do that. We want them to give us genuine insight. Good news is, when you make the open text field mandatory, serious buyers are very willing to give you quite in-depth insight into why they're talking to you. Contrary to fear in many cases, implementing this approach doesn't necessarily harm conversion rate, conversion quality. In fact, it can positively impact both. I think there's something to be said for asking buyers more about why they're talking to you in the first place actually creates trust and respect in them for your brand. So it's a really positive step to implement it in the way that achieves the best results for you too. Refine Labs, who really pioneered this approach to understanding your buyer, even found in a number of cases that it positively impacted conversion rates in a measurable way. Their studies revealed that it had a positive impact on conversion rate, and we've certainly never seen it have a negative impact on conversion rate. And the data you get is so valuable, it's a no-brainer really for B2B marketers to implement this on their website today. Self-reported attribution doesn't remove the need or the value in other data, metrics and analysis. Like all marketing data, self-reported attribution is not 100% accurate and reliable. So you've always got to use your understanding of your audience, your marketing intuition, and your other data to cross-reference and inform how you use the insights you get from it. In particular, your software reported attribution in terms of channels that buyers are using to navigate to your site as a result of the things that drove them to do so in the first place is really useful context, because after all, you want to optimize your go-to-market in a complete way that facilitates the arrival of buyers and the transition into pipeline. So you want a full picture, you want to use all the data that's available to you, but you really want to supplement it with the insights that self-reported attribution gives you that you can't get from your software.